Hi, scrappy friends. Welcome to my channel. I have a layout for you that I made a while ago, a couple of weeks ago, last week, something like that. And I shared over at the Clique Kits blog. I will make sure that I put the link for you so that you can find it. It is a Geek Lab which focuses on using technology and that kind of thing. So I'm using one of the cut files from this month for October, for the kit of October. And the kit that I am using is the Girl Tribe. This is the main kit, and it features Shamel. And so it's awesome. I really like this kit. It's so nice and fun. But this cup file is a whole bunch of coffee cups. So basically, without going into huge detail about it, because you can go to the blog and read about it a little bit better, but I took the cup file, but then I also added a photo into the silhouette store. Yeah. So if you, and I will make sure I also link to someone else who I know who has mentioned this, and she'll have some it's a good example of it too, and a better tutorial than I can tell you. But like I said, you can also read about it at the blog, because I talked about it, and it's a little bit easier to share on a blog than it is to talk about it without showing it. But basically, you take your photo from outside of the silhouette software, and then so you have your image in the software, and then you drag your photo over top of it and you drop it in, and you can get your photo to fit into a cut file. So it's really neat and it's really fun. Now, obviously you can't see much of my photo, and I just picked a photo that was a screenshot, and it had a whole bunch of like a dialogue. So it's a shot of me and my scrappy friend, are a group of mine that we talk quite often. I want to say every day, but that might not really be true. But we talk pretty much every day, and just back and forth, and we get advice about scrappy stuff, and we bounce ideas off each other. It's just really cool to have a scrappy bestie or a group of people that you can talk to, and you guys think a lot alike in certain ways, but then you guys are like, a lot of us are so different. It's so fun just having in a group that, and this year we really have gotten really close. And so, like I said, over the summer we started talking like every day, and now that it's the school year, it's a little bit different, but I still enjoy their company so well. And so I have taken some screenshots of just some conversations that we had, and I use that as my background because I really like I really liked the concept of having the words in the cut file so you could see like bits and pieces of the conversation. And I picked coffee because we all pretty much in our group love coffee. I don't think there's any of us that don't love coffee, but I know some of us like tea sometimes too, but I just thought it just matched. And so as you've seen, I cut out a whole bunch of those bubble speech bubbles. That's what they are. I thought it would be perfect, and I did line the cut file with that photo because or the cut file with that pattern paper, because I wanted to be able to see something. I didn't want it to be all white, basically. So I use that, and then I'm gonna use the rest of those bubbles on the page, and I'm just gonna leave it white. Because I have some other stuff going on, and you're gonna see I play around a little bit with this because I had a hard time trying to figure out how to balance all of the patterns, because Shamel and this kit has so much pattern, and I love, don't get me wrong, I love me a pattern, but sometimes it's kind of hard when you use a lot of different, like, you're used to using a lot of media, which I've been doing a lot more lately. But also, when you're using something like a cut file that has stuff and a picture that has a lot of text, you really want to keep the background kind of simple and not crazy and chaotic. And that was that's the challenge with this kit, right? Is to use it in different ways that are going to complement your style, but also use it in a way that's going to compromise, like it's going to make it look good, that even though you're using some really big bold patterns, because you're cutting them out and you're only using them like throughout the paper. So yeah, like I said, I'm going to put these all around. Some of them are going to get popped up a little bit, and I just put them around because I want it to be cool. I want it to be these conversations that me and my friends have. We just talk and someone says something, and maybe it's an hour later or 2 hours later and someone else says something else, and we're laughing and we're sending gifts to each other, or gifs, or I don't know. I feel so old when I say it out loud. When I read it, it's different. Who else feels like that? Oh my goodness, right? I never would have pegged me for someone who would be all technology driven. It just is so unlike the person that I used to be. But anyway, that's a whole nother like story that I could tell, right? On a layout, is just how I've changed so much in the past few years, maybe. Like, yeah, anyway, rabbit hole. So what I did was I took some of those strips, right, of the pattern paper, and I just added them to the top and the bottom. And that is going to create a little bit more pattern in with all of the speech bubbles. And I just had really a lot of fun. And then I'm going to look, I really wanted to use this printable card that says #tribe, because it was part of what drove me to start this layout, because it's talking about girls and finding your tribe. And really, this is what this layout is about. It's about how I just found this group of ladies who we all think a lot of like in some ways. And we all are just so driven with being crafty and making it a priority to take time for ourselves to do something amazing, like craft and something for us. And we just, to me, and so I think I talked a little bit about this in the blog post. So I'm sorry if you read the blog post and this is like boring, but so I talked a little bit about part of the reason why I feel like this is such an important layout to make is because when my girls get older and they're flipping through the albums, I want them to remember that their mom had quality girl relationships. I feel like sometimes we just don't show that to our kids as much, right? We're so focused on getting our own stuff, like doing stuff for our kids, doing stuff, and it's not that we don't have friends, because we do. It's just we don't talk about it, right? We see our kids have like their girly teenage or their little kid friendships, but we don't talk about our own friendships with our maybe some families do. It wasn't really like that when I was growing. I mean, okay. So my mom had lots of friends, and I seen that. It wasn't verbalized. And I think that this is one of the great things about scrapbooking, is that you can take something that your kids see already and put it into words. So then when they grow up and they can read about these friendships or these things that their parent went through, and they can go, oh yeah, I don't know, you just understand about it. I mean, maybe they won't care when they're 20 or 25, but I think when they're 40 and 50 or, 35 and they start having kids, I think that's when you hit this level of your kids start growing older and you want to you realize your parents as people and not just your parents, right? So, I mean, some people find it earlier, some people find it longer. But anyway, I really wanted to pay homage to the fact that I have some really amazing and strong friendships that are just so true and so good, that I want my kids to know that that is possible and that they should strive for that. Because, I mean, we can be so petty these days with so much stuff that we don't take the time to build we don't always take the time to have great relationships. And sometimes it's busy. Sometimes we have stuff that we have to do. But I know in my life, I want my friends to build me up. I want to build my friends up. And so I want my kids to see that, and I want them to have those and strive for those relationships, right? So that is why this is important to document these things about our own self, right? I mean, I know it's hard to get out of, not wanting to just scrapbook for our kids, but I think documenting our own story so our kids can know what 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 kind of life should they live, be an example, because they're going to be grown up and they're going to either say I don't want to be like you or I want to be like you. And so, yeah. Anyway, so that's my little spiel about that. Not what I was intending to talk about, but I hope you guys enjoyed this. I love those stickers, and I will see you guys later. Have a great scrappy week.